Hello, my name is Whitney Preisser. I'm a postdoc at the University of Washington in Chelsea Wood's lab. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to clear nematodes in order to morphologically ID them. We're going to use lactophenol to make the nematodes clear so we can see through them and we can see their internal morphology. And then we'll mount them on a slide and ID them. So to get started, we're going to put the nematodes in lactophenol for at least a few hours. Smaller specimens can clear in a few hours. Larger specimens, you might want to leave them overnight or even 24 to 48 hours. To make it easier on ourselves and a little bit less messy, we put lactophenol inside a microtube, and then we put the nematode into the microtube, let it sit. Then after a few hours, up to 48 hours, we'll take it out, mount it on a slide, and ID it. In order to make lactophenol, you mix 2 parts glycerin, 1 part water, 1 part lactic acid, and 1 part phenol crystals. This recipe is found inside Cable's laboratory manual parasitology book. Additionally, if you don't want to make it, you can also buy it from your scientific supplier. So first, always wear your gloves when you're handling lactophenol. It will burn you, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it burns right away, but it does start damaging your skin right away. So after that's mixed, I'll take some of it and I'll put it into a microtube. And then I'll add a nematode with as little ethanol as possible into that same tube. And let nematodes sit in that for a few hours so it can clear. Now that the nematodes have been sitting inside the lactophenol for a few hours, we're going to move them onto a slide with a cover slip so we can look at them under a compound scope. So I'm going to take the nematodes out with a little bit of lactophenol, put it onto a slide and cover it with a cover slip. And now we're going to look at it underneath a microscope. If the nematode hasn't cleared yet, you can leave it for a few more hours overnight in order to get it to clear. If you're still having trouble getting it to clear, you can make your lactophenol a little bit stronger by adding a little bit more phenol to it. So this is an example of a nematode that cleared really well. Here we can see a lot of detail on the exterior and then inside as well. We have the esophagus that leads to the ventriculus and then to the intestine. You can see that nice bend in the ventriculus. And additionally, you can see the esophagus and intestine really well. This is another example of a well-cleared specimen. Here we can easily see where the esophagus meets the intestine, and we have the cecum and the appendix as well. We can see clear detail. The internal organs are very easy to see. Now this is an example of a nematode that did not clear as well, and that may be due to a few reasons. First, it may not have sat in the clearing agent long enough. Or second, it may have been preserved in a way that does not allow it to clear. So for example, in the nematodes we look at, the fish were preserved in formalin and ethanol for years to decades, and so the nematodes may not be well preserved. So when you go to clear them, sometimes the clearing agent doesn't work very well on poorly preserved nematodes. Here, you can just barely see the ventriculus, that S-shaped, where the esophagus and the intestines meet, and it's difficult to see the intestine and esophagus separately. If a specimen looks like this, you can try keeping it in the clearing agent for longer. However, if the lack of clearing is due to poor preservation, there's not much you can do to fix it. I hope this video was helpful in learning how to clear nematodes. Thank you for watching.